Have you noticed how you want to change, but something in you quietly pulls you back? Not laziness, not lack of information. You know what to do. You've watched the videos. You've saved the routines. You've promised yourself, this time is different. And yet, when the moment comes to actually move, a strange heaviness appears. You delay. You negotiate. You tell yourself tomorrow. Not because you don't care, but because something inside you feels threatened by the idea of becoming someone else. It's almost ironic. You can imagine a different life clearly. You can even desire it. But crossing the line between who you are and who you could become feels unsafe. As if changing meant losing a familiar ground. As if letting go of old habits meant letting go of an old version of yourself that once knew how to survive. So the mind creates small justifications. Now is not the right time. I need to be more prepared. After this phase passes, and without noticing, staying the same starts to feel more protective than moving forward. What if the difficulty isn't in knowing how to change, but in what changing symbolically means for your identity? We'll come back to that. Think about the simple things you keep postponing. Going back to the gym, eating differently, starting that project you've been talking about for years, leaving a relationship that no longer fits, studying for something that could change your future, moving out, asking for help, saying no, beginning again. You don't lack information. You lack permission inside yourself. You wake up with plans, and by the end of the day, you're exhausted, scrolling, distracting, postponing. Not because you're irresponsible, but because the short-term relief of staying in the familiar feels safer than the long-term uncertainty of becoming someone new. The mind whispers, just rest today. Now is not the moment. You'll do it when you feel ready. And readiness becomes an endless waiting room. So you stay in routines that don't nourish you, in jobs that drain you, in dynamics that no longer reflect who you are becoming. Not because you don't want more, but because moving toward more means crossing a psychological border. A border where the old identity no longer protects you, and the new one hasn't been built yet. That in-between space feels empty, and emptiness is often more frightening than pain. We'll need to understand why that is. From a psychological perspective, resistance to change is rarely about laziness. It's about loyalty to an identity that once kept you safe. At some point in life, your psyche learned a formula. This is who I need to be to belong. This is how I stay connected. This is how I avoid losing love, stability, or place. That identity might have been the strong one, the responsible one, the one who doesn't risk too much, the one who adapts instead of demands, the one who stays small enough to remain included. So when you try to change, you're not just altering habits. You're threatening a symbolic contract. Your mind doesn't ask, is this life fulfilling? It asks, is this life familiar enough to survive? And familiarity often feels safer than possibility. In this sense, the psyche doesn't protect what is best for you, protects what is known, what once worked, what once prevented loss, exclusion, or collapse. So moving forward can feel like betrayal, not of others, but of the version of you that learned how to endure. And that version doesn't disappear quietly. It resists, pulls you back. It whispers that staying is safer than becoming. Maybe you came here expecting a list. 5 steps to change. 5 habits. 5 rules to become someone else. But if it were that simple, everyone would already be living the life they say they want. Because the real obstacle isn't information. You already know what to do. It's not the gym. It's not the diet. It's not the project. It's not the routine. It's what changing would mean inside you. Maybe part of you is afraid of abandoning an old version that once knew how to survive. Maybe you're not scared of failing. You're scared of trying and seeing that it still hurts. Maybe you fear judgment, rejection, losing your place, losing the way people see you. Maybe you don't feel supported enough to become someone different. Maybe you've never had a space where your own desire was truly held. And sometimes it's not about discipline at all. It's about loneliness, about not having a mirror, about not having someone to help you carry what changing brings up, about a history that learned to endure, not to expand. So when you feel that resistance, that strange paralysis, that pull back to the familiar, maybe the part of you that resists change isn't trying to sabotage your future. And that brings us back to the beginning. Growth often feels like danger before it ever feels like freedom. So the question might not be, Why can't I change? It might be, what would I lose if I finally allowed myself to become who I was never safe enough to be?